member for Pitt Meadows, Maple Ridge.
We're talking today about a very important issue that's impacting all British Columbians and has implications for all Canadians: property rights. So in 2021, the census, 2/3 of British Columbians households owned their own home. And it's 66.8%, and it's about the same throughout the country. 1/3 are renters, and a good many of those that are renters want to eventually own, but it's become increasingly difficult under the past decade, under the Liberals, due to the cost of housing, rising inflation, and less disposable income to pay for things like groceries, for gas, taxes, let alone down payment towards a home. Mr. Speaker, people work hard to pay down their mortgages. Decades. I remember one worker I spoke to not that long ago telling me he just working 7 days a week, hours and hours, very long days, just to keep a roof over his family's head and to keep their home. Nothing fancy, he told me. He told me he can't give his body a break. I think of myself when I was a new teacher, buying a condo, working long hours, extra hours to go towards the mortgage. I think of seniors, Mr. Speaker, who have spent a lifetime paying down their mortgage and want to use it as a nest egg to provide financial resources and security for their retirement and pass it on to their children and grandchildren. I don't like saying this, but this is being undermined today. In British Columbia, we sometimes have earthquakes, small earthquakes. It's good that we haven't had large ones for many, probably over 100 years. I've felt them. There's tremors and there's foreshocks, there's aftershocks, but the foreshocks around the world sometimes indicate that a big one's coming and shouldn't be ignored. Private property rights, there are some shocks happening. And they can be ignored by the Liberals. They can just ignore it. Oh, nothing's happening. Same old, which is what we hear from them. But there's something dangerous that is looming. That's already here. Mr. Speaker, private property rights are often considered as one of the foundational elements of a free and stable economy. It's important because it impacts people's economic freedom, their personal security, and investment. For generations, Canadians have understood a basic principle. If you lawfully purchase a home, if you hold title to your property, if you invest your life savings into a piece of land, not just your life savings, but your sweat, your work, your hours, that the law protects that ownership. That certainly is not a privilege. It is one of the cornerstones of democratic society. It's what allows families to build a future. It allows farmers to invest in their land. It allows businesses to create jobs and communities to grow. Where certainty in property rights, where there's uncertainty, confidence erodes, investments dries up, families hesitate, communities stagnate. And this is a big concern. I had a booth at a home show over the past weekend for several days, talked to hundreds of people, and this topic about property rights came up over and over again unsolicited. It's not just what the Liberals call fear-mongering. It is what people are feeling in the community, and it's not some bad dream they're having. What is it? It's a reality. There's things that are happening. And the Liberals have been asleep at the switch. That's the train switch, you know, which way the train goes, Mr. Speaker. I know it's maybe an old expression. But they're more than asleep. Their incompetence, no, very much so, is a key reason that we find the mess that we're in. Last August, the Cowichan Tribes versus Canada decision of the BC Supreme Court threatened the private property rights of landowners in British Columbia and potentially in other provinces. In one act, the judge deemed the Aboriginal title has prior and senior rights over fee simple home ownership over 800 acres in Richmond worth $1 billion. It's setting a precedent that other judgments can be made on. That is the concern. That's a big concern. It sets a precedent that can expand. It's already serious enough. This ruling has shaken the foundations of British Columbia's economy and sparked fear among landowners province-wide. As Conservatives, we're bringing this up. What we're hearing in the community, what places like Richmond and the owners are saying. I've met with different ones, farmers in their land who've spent generations in their land clearing and working and spending the money and how this is all being threatened. And they poo-poo us, Mr. Speaker. They say, oh, you're just barking up a tree. We're not barking up a tree, Mr. Speaker. This is serious, and they need to take it seriously. And they can't just say, oh, it's under the courts, it's in the court's hands, let's just forget about it, all's good, just fall asleep, go back to sleep. Well, we're not going to go back to sleep, we're going to fight for this. We're going to fight for landowners, we're going to fight for homeowners, we're going to fight for our communities, and we're going to try to wake up the Liberals because they've gotten us into this situation. British Columbians bought their homes, paid mortgages, and followed the law. But because the Liberal government directed its lawyers not to argue for property rights in the Cowichan case, the judge didn't protect private property. They didn't make an excuse. And you know what? The Liberals will say, oh, but we are fighting for it. But you know what? They didn't actually intervene and say they would appeal the court until the very last day. I'd say, well, I guess we better do this. This might not be very good for us electorally. That's what they're thinking of. It's all electoral. It's all speech. Under the Prime Minister's leadership, the federal government continues to maintain the same legal directive adopted in 2019. Litigation Guideline 14. That directive led Ottawa to abandon the argument in defense of fee simple title in British Columbia, including in the Cowichan case. Mr. Speaker, it's still on their website today, unless they took it out this morning. It's on their website today as far as not encouraging the lawyers, government lawyers, to stand up for fee simple property. They're saying we're fear-mongering. Not true. They're trying to minimize something very serious situation that British Columbians find themselves in. They say we're being racist. That's not true. Mr. Speaker, Conservatives believe in reconciliation with Indigenous people. It's essential. It's a moral obligation, a constitutional responsibility, and an opportunity to build a stronger Canada founded on mutual respect and shared prosperity. But reconciliation cannot succeed if it's built on ambiguity, secrecy, and legal confusion. What does this all mean? What's going on here for private property owners? What does it mean for municipalities? What does it mean for the future land claims and development projects? Because it's impacting. It's impacting. British Columbia has been an important engine in Confederation, in economy, but it is not the same. We're struggling here economically, development. You know, when you don't have the development, when businesses are afraid of expanding, that has an impact on jobs, and lack of impact on jobs impacts taxes, revenues, which impact healthcare and everything else. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Questions and comments? Kitsy commentary. We probably have time for one question. The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to acknowledge that, yes, I also speak to many residents who are concerned and have questions. But the important thing is to talk with residents and to explain the issue and not to stoke the fear and the confusion. In December 2025, the New Brunswick Court issued a decision on Aboriginal title, which ruled differently. So we have two court cases, two different decisions, and that's why we've appealed Cowichan, because there is a need for further clarity. But, Mr. Speaker, I haven't met a Conservative yet that's read the Musqueam Agreement. Section 5.1 of the Musqueam Agreement specifically states that it's not a land claims agreement. Can the member opposite please explain, if this isn't explicit enough, what would it take? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member in about 45 seconds or less.
Mr. Speaker, they're ignoring what's happening. Do you think that the businesses, the homeowners, are just making things up, that they can't renew their mortgages, or businesses can't get loans? Are they making that up? That's in the law. It's on what's happening. It's the uncertainty. It's what's not in the treaties and the agreements. And so this causing problems. It's causing problems within the Lower Mainland. It's causing problems within other First Nations. Like, it's a mess, and you can put that on the Liberals. Thank you.